100% sure Resident Evil Requiem leaker doubles down on Leon being the main character. So this is a topic I wanted to go ahead and talk about. Now, it's been, a lot of information that's been going around in regards to, Resident Evil 9, even months back. I've done a few videos on it in regards to who the main characters were. Now, it was stated before that Leon Kennedy was going to be one of the main protagonists in this game. And, one of the other protagonists that was mentioned a lot that, people were speculating was actually going to be true was Jill Valentine. Now, there's a big chance that, Jill Valentine isn't going to be at all involved in this game, which I think is really unfortunate, especially after watching the trailer and seeing that it is going to take place in Raccoon City, because it wasn't just, Leon and Claire that were involved in Raccoon City before it became no more. It was actually Jill as well. Now, in that regard, it's been stated that those rumors were actually false and that we're probably not going to see Jill involved whatsoever. Now, once the trailer itself had come out, we had seen that it was actually going to be the individual, her name is Grace, who's going to be the main protagonist when it comes down to the game. And so a lot of people have been speculating that that's just going to be the way it is and it's just going to be her alone. Now, there is some information that has been coming out that it is speculating that, it is going to be Grace as the main protagonist when it comes down to some of the horror aspects of the game, while Leon is probably going to be taking on the role of the action sections of the game. Now we have another article here. So Leon Kennedy, actually quite a bad match for horror, says Resident Evil 9's director. So in this article over here, the director pretty much just explains how, when it comes down to the horror sections of the game and everything like that, Leon is an individual that has come across a lot of, things in his lifetime in the Resident Evil, world. So he is kind of used to a lot of these monsters, these creatures that'll kind of go after him in a sense. So he probably wouldn't be the best, protagonist to have in regards to having to face this type of stuff and being scared in that regard. As you playing the game and everything like that, you're going to have this protagonist that's going to be, kind of not necessarily unaffected, but just wouldn't be as worried as it's say like someone like Grace who's never been through this type of stuff before. So it does kind of get into the nitty gritty of all that and why, she would be a better fit for the horror aspects of the game. Because when you see some of this stuff, obviously you're going to get creeped out, you're going to get scared. And who better to have, as you playing than a character that isn't used to this type of situation, is new to a lot of this type of stuff. So seeing a lot of these creatures, a lot of these monsters would more than likely freak her out. And in a sense, I understand where they're coming from as far as the director goes and everything like that. Because yeah, when it comes down to these games, you kind of had that a little bit with Leon in regards to Resident Evil 2. It was one of those situations where, for anyone that doesn't remember or just never played, when you play Resident Evil 2 Remake, what they ended up doing, which I thought was actually pretty cool, was that they have it so that there's sections of the game where Leon's kind of, you're playing as his character and everything like that, and you're going into different sections, and he's kind of talking to himself. Kind of like, you got this, man, like no worries, kind of a thing. And it's really cool because it shows you the how Leon was when he first got into this whole situation in regards to being in Raccoon City, having to deal with all these zombies and everything like that. And then going from that, you see him in, Resident Evil 4 and everything like that, which is pretty cool because at that point in the franchise and everything like that, he's had some training. He's been able to put himself in different types of combat and stuff like that. So he's become a little bit more familiar with this type of world, with the things that he's going to be facing. So he isn't quite, scared or hesitant to kind of go after things by the time we play him in Resident Evil 4. He's pretty like well versed and has been able to kind of come into his own in regards to the character that he ends up becoming. So obviously, when it comes down to having a horror section of the game, you want to be very hesitant because, like I said, it would be one of those situations where he wouldn't be too scared. So when you have someone like Grace here who's new to all of this type of stuff, hasn't been involved in this types of situations, it is really, one of those things where you do kind of want to have it so that she can kind of relate to the players, the people that are getting into the game and everything like that. Especially if it's someone that hasn't played Resident Evil before, but for some reason they would want to try playing 9 as the first one for them. Being able to kind of get creeped out and have a protagonist that seems scared as well would be something that I'm sure would kind of get them more into the environment and get them more into that feeling of being, a horror game. But as far as the game itself goes, from what I'm seeing, I feel like it looks like it's going to be really good. You know what I mean? Being able to return to Raccoon City. Obviously, we're going into the horror aspect of it, which I think is really cool. Being able to come back to the RPD section and everything. I'm really hoping that if they are going to have it so that you do kind of transition between both characters. So maybe one section of the game you're going to be playing as Grace, another section of the game you're going to be playing as Leon, which they've done multiple times, especially like with the way they did it in the last Resident Evil Village, where you're playing as oh man, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. The main character in Resident Evil Village, I can't remember it specifically. But when you're playing as him, and then when you go from his character and you switch off to, let's say, like Chris's character, where his section is more like action packed, where it's like you and your team kind of going in guns blazing kind of a thing. So they have done that in the past, so it would make sense if they decided to go that route when it came down to this newer game. But yeah, as far as the gameplay and everything like that goes, I haven't seen any trailers or nothing like that so far. I'm kind of hesitant to actually watch any of that type of stuff. I might play a demo if they do release it for the PlayStation, but I am kind of questioning whether I want to actually give it a little taste of it, because I was able to kind of get like the demo of Resident Evil 4 remake when that one was coming out. And although it was fun and I played the hell out of it, I'm kind of debating if I do want to do like a little bit of like a demo of it of Resident Evil Requiem, or if I just want to go in kind of blind. I feel like I kind of would rather go in blind. The only thing that I can probably think of that might make me want to go ahead and play the demo and everything like that is if there was something I'd be able to unlock or achieve in the regular game once I purchase it because I played the demo. But I don't think that would be the case because they didn't do that with Resident Evil 4, and I don't really see them doing that at all with any of like any newer games or anything in that regard. But yeah, as far as the game goes, I'm really excited for it. I'm really looking forward to seeing what's gonna come of it. Again, I do like the fact that they are gonna go back into the horror aspect of it. I do like the fact that it does sound like there is a possibility of them having kind of like an action set piece with it as well, because of the fact that I'm really happy to be going back to Raccoon City. It makes me so happy that that's gonna be part of the game. And if they do decide to put Leon in it, then yeah, it would make sense that they have that kind of section for him. And one of the other things I noticed too was kind of going over some of the articles and everything like that was a comment that someone here, Dalton had posted, where it said Capcom addressing the Leon rumors must I'm sorry, Capcom addressing the Leon rumors just makes it seem more likely to me that he is indeed the main playable character of Requiem. And I gotta kind of agree with that, because it was one of those situations with the fact that there was someone out there, this individual that was giving the leaks and everything. Like I think it was like a Dusk Golem was the name of him. The Capcom, you can easily just kind of ignore the rumors and the leaks and everything and not really address it. But the fact that they are addressing it, the fact that they have made comments of it, does kind of make it seem like there might be some validity to it, and that there might actually be a chance that we would have Leon as the main character. And again, I'm a little bit bummed out that it would just be Leon. I really would like to see if there was a chance that we could have Leon as well as Jill. But from what we've been getting as far as the trailer and everything like that goes, I think it's going to be one of those things where Leon is going to be the main character, and then Grace is going to be the other character. But I am curious if there was the possibility that they were having it so that they were considering having Grace's section maybe be played by Jill, or have it so that if it did kind of have a little bit of a horror aspect, Jill would have been involved in that. But chances are it's kind of the same thing with Leon. Jill's been through a lot of this type of world. She's seen a lot of stuff in her time. So chances are she wouldn't be too frightened or anything like that. And if they're trying to really put that horror aspect into the game, it probably wouldn't work in that regard. But yeah, as far as this information goes, only time's gonna tell, when it comes down to what we're gonna see is for the game and the protagonist and everything like that. Luckily enough, we won't have to wait that long, because it is gonna be coming out, I believe, in February of 2026. So we just got a couple more months. I'd say about like 7, 8 more months that we're gonna have to wait, which isn't too long, all things considered. But yeah, as far as the game goes, I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really, really hoping that Leon is gonna be one of the main characters because I have read some other articles and stuff like that, some of the information that I've been seeing that supposedly this is gonna be capping off the trilogy for Leon. So Resident Evil 2 was the main game that we got to play with him. Resident Evil 4 was the second one, and then supposedly this is going to be the third one that's going to finish off his story and everything like that. What that means exactly, I'm not too sure. Hopefully that just means that he just decides to kind of ride off into the sunset kind of a thing, and just kind of finish out there and not really get too much involved into the rest of this type of world. Or it could mean the worst in the sense that like maybe they do decide to kill him off, which I'm really hoping doesn't happen and isn't the case. But who knows? We're only gonna have to wait and see for a few more months. So those are my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Are you guys looking forward to this game as much as I am? And do you guys think that Leon is going to be a playable character? If so, let me know why, and if not, let me know why not. Because I would like to get your guys' information on this and kind of see where your guys' heads are at and everything. So if you guys could like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys have been watching this long, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. And yeah, until next time, Harmonic out. Peace.